Welcome to my channel. There is a deep rot inside America's higher educational system. We're going to take a look at that today. But before we do that, I have to thank each and every one of you that comes to my channel and watches my videos. Thank you to all of you that like and comment and subscribe. And thank you especially to every one of you that has subscribed to my channel. And shares. Like, comment, and share. But thank you especially to those of you who have subscribed to my channel. Without you, I wouldn't have a channel. It wouldn't be worth doing. But because of you, I keep producing videos. So thank you. Thank you so much. Today, an article came across my desk. An Alzheimer's paper that was well known and highly touted was retracted by the former Stanford president after a decade of resistance. A decade of resistance. Think about that. This gentleman, if we can call him that, was the president of Stanford University, one of the premier universities in the United States. And he published a scientific paper on Alzheimer's, which was highly touted and quoted, and now he's had to retract it. I'm just going to read a little bit of this. I'll put the links in the description for you to read for yourself. But what I'm showing you today shows you that there is a terrible rot inside of higher education that makes it so that you literally cannot trust anything that any so-called expert says. This man, Mark Tessier-Lavigne, told shareholders in 2009 that his research would turn our current understanding of Alzheimer's upside down. Now, the former Stanford president and his co-authors have retracted the paper he once heralded, conceding they do not have confidence in its data. You know, Americans have been told that we should trust science. But how can we trust science when it's being falsely published? How can we trust science when the science we're being told to trust isn't truth, isn't accurate, is false data? How can we do that? The prominent journal Nature announced the retraction on December 18th, noting that in a December 18th note signed by all four co-authors. The note acknowledged a number of image anomalies and biased statistical errors, but denied that the study had included falsified data. Okay. They had errors in it, but it wasn't false. That's what they're telling you. Tessier-Lavigne was first urged to retract the paper over a decade ago, but maintained as recently as July that he would not. As with all of my papers, at the time of publication of Nature 2009, I believed the results in the paper were correct and accurately presented. I absolutely believe that there is no falsified data in the paper. Well, you may absolutely believe that, Mr. Tessier-Lavigne, but we Americans cannot. We can no longer trust what comes out of the scientific community in universities. And that's not the worst of it. The president of Harvard, Claudine Gay, has recently had to step down. Why? Well, let's listen to what Harvard says. This is not a decision I come to easily, Gay, the university's 30th president, said in a message to the Harvard community. I have looked forward to working with so many of you to advance the commitment of academic excellence that has propelled this great university across centuries. Oh my God. The hypocrisy. You're going to find out why in just a minute. But the hypocrisy of that statement has a stench that reaches to the heavens. It has become clear that it is in the best interest of Harvard for me to resign so that our community can navigate this moment of extraordinary challenge with a focus on the institution rather than any individual. So the poor, helpless woman goes back to teaching at Harvard at $900,000 a year. What was her sin? She has been busted for plagiarism in at least 50 articles that she's published. This is the president of Harvard, folks. The president. How can you trust anything that comes out of Harvard? Anything at all. I mean, this is insanity. It's complete insanity. And do you know where this comes from? This dates back to the Vietnam War. I know people are going to say, oh, you always got to bring that up. Well, yes, because it was a seminal moment in the history of our country. While good, patriotic Americans were fighting in Vietnam, the Marxists were taking over our educational system. All the anti-war people, instead of going to war and fighting for their country, got their PhDs and became professors, and eventually deans and presidents of universities. And now we're reaping the results of that. I want to read you another article. This is by J.D. Vance, who's a congressman. The most important point about Claudine Gay's plagiarism isn't that she was fired, but that she had the job, the most prestigious job in higher education, after an extremely thin record of accomplishment. Claudine Gay has never published an article, even a plagiarized one, that really mattered or significantly advanced scholarship. She got her job not through merit, but because she checked a box. She's female and she's black. And the real shame of this is that it denigrates the fantastic accomplishments of so many black people. Dr. Swain, for example, Dr. Sowell. There's so many that have done so much and have been so significant, and yet these insignificant, unaccomplished, plagiarizing people are the ones that get promoted to the positions of power. Why? Because she stood for the right values. She was all in on DEI. She was all in on eradicating prejudice from our country. People are being promoted to positions in our country for the wrong reasons. And we're reaping the results. We are absolutely reaping the results. It's every time I read this stuff, it just gets me it gets me in the gut. This is not what America is about. America is about meritocracy. America is about accomplishment. America is about doing something to change the world for the better. And these people are doing the opposite. He writes, "Our entire elite is like this. People who got their jobs because they checked boxes, not because they achieved something amazing or accomplished something meaningful. That is now the purpose of our elite universities, to give credentials that signal fake merit rather than rely on real excellence. This is why you should mock the public health experts who want you to mask toddlers in their schools to stop the spread of a respiratory virus. These public health experts are not smart or accomplished. They have a credential from an institution that cares more about box checking than merit." Think about it. If that's what the presidents of these universities are, then what do you think they're putting out in terms of students? And the real shame, the absolute crime of it is, there are very accomplished, very smart, very meritorious people graduating from these universities, and their credentials and their accomplishments are brought into question by these fake experts. This has been a long time coming, and it's going to take hard work to clean it out. If you've ever heard the story of the Aegean stables, then you understand what it's going to take to clean out American higher education. It is a mammoth task, and only God can do it. God has to work so many miracles in our country to turn it around. And God can do that. I just don't know if He wants to. I don't know if God has looked down on America and seen Sodom and Gomorrah. And if He has, America will be turned to salt, just like they were. I hate to be so negative, so discouraging, so depressing, but you have to know the truth. And you're not getting the truth from the media. You're not getting the truth from your politicians. You're not getting the truth from your scientists. You're not getting the truth from the educators. You're not getting the truth from anyone who's in a position of leadership. So it's up to us, plain old citizens sitting in our houses, to try and get the truth out. I pray to God that it works. I pray to God that God overlooks all of the sin and all the immorality and all the illegality and all of the lack of merit that we have in our country, and decides to save us anyway. As for you, my viewers, I pray that you personally will live an abundant life, that you'll be healthy, and that you'll live a long life, and that God will keep you safe from harm as He does me. And I pray that you will be anxious for nothing as I am, but with prayer and through prayer and supplication with thanksgiving, you will let your requests be made known to God. And the peace that passes all understanding will keep your heart and mind in Christ Jesus. This is the Vietnam Era Vet out.